Hi, welcome again to Meet Your Marine. It's Memorial Day edition, and I am stoked to have with me the chairman of the Marine Corps Coordinating Council, Mr. Michael Chapman. Michael, thanks for coming with us today and talking with me.
Not a problem.
So, Mike, you're a Marine. Once a Marine, always a Marine.
45 years later.
I was hoping you could tell us a little bit about your experience in the Marine Corps.
Well, it wasn't exactly the most glorious tour of duty. I went on active duty in February of '72 and did 2 years basically stateside and was an office clerk. It was not, I was just one of that's what they had me do.
I've heard you say to some of these other fellas that come to our meetings, the younger guys, that the basic training was a lot different back when you went, and you were telling me off camera a little bit about some of the things that you had to do. Could you share with us about that?
Well, basic training in that period of time, there was no crucible, which is what the Marines do today, which is a 4-day program that once they're done with the crucible, they're Marines. In my day, we did an inspection. They had a general's inspection, which was a whole day thing with weapons and all things that had to be perfect. And that was your final graduation process. But after you actually graduated and were a Marine, then you went to Infantry Training Regiment, which was at Camp Geiger in North Carolina, and that was basically pre-combat. That was to bring you up to speed as far as combat tactics and all the different things that you would need to go to Vietnam at that time.
That's what was going on at the time when you entered the service?
Vietnam didn't end until 1975. So,
and you went in when?
I went in '72. So while they weren't actually sending Marine replacements over, they actually were drawing down troops. They still had the processes in place to get you combat ready.
And what kind of things were you doing while you were there?
ITR was basically weapons training. You trained with weapons that you did not train with in boot camp. It was land navigation. It was reading maps. You know, there were no GPSs in those days. You had to actually know what a map meant and all the different symbols on it. They did all kinds of tactics as far as small arms, you know, setting up fields of fire, all the different things that you would have to know to survive in combat.
Wow, that's interesting stuff. And how long were you in for?
2 years.
2 years then?
I enlisted for 2 years.
Great. And now you are the chairman of the Marine Corps Coordinating Council. Hey, Mike, what's your annual salary for being the chairman?
Close your eyes really tight. That's exactly what I draw down. Yes.
Yeah. We're all very proud of the fact that we're a 100% volunteer organization. Talk to me a little bit about the Marine Corps Coordinating Council. How long has the organization been around? How did it start? Why are we still here?
It started at the direction of Headquarters Marine Corps when General Krulak was the commandant. They were going through a similar situation in the early '90s after Desert Storm 1, where troops were being drawn down and the number of reservists was growing. So he came up with this concept of retired Marines and former Marines in locales supporting the reserve units there, and called it a coordinating council, which basically meant, you know, everybody gets together and helps out the reserve unit. Len Benedict started this organization in 1999, and basically to this day, we pretty much run right by the way the commandant set forth the organizational plan, and it's been different since we lost our reserve unit in 2013.
Right. Not a lot of folks know about that.
That's true. It was an interesting concept because the reserve unit was stationed at Paul Road, where the Navy is now, and they spent a large sum of money renovating that whole building, getting all new offices put in, and within a short period of time, they disbanded the unit.
What was the name? What was the name of the unit? What was their function?
At the time that they disbanded, it was A Company Anti-Terrorist Battalion, but it was 8th Tanks for years and years and years. That was really what it was known as 8th Tanks.
Okay, and who's the council taking care of now? What reserve units?
Well, we had to make a decision. We could fold up our tent and leave and just disband our unit, or we could expand our horizons, because what happened was all those Marines that were domiciled in Rochester still had reserve obligation. So they were transferred either to either Syracuse or Buffalo, based on MOS, time left in the service, and all those things, and the needs of the Marine Corps. So we decided that we were going to start to support them there. And since that period of time, we now support the grunt unit in Buffalo and the light armored reconnaissance unit in Syracuse.
First Battalion, 25th Buffalo. That's right. What is it that when you say support them? What kind of activities does the council engage in support?
We are a completely autonomous organization. You know, the other organizations, American Legion, which I'm part of, and the Marine Corps League, which I'm part of, have people above them. They have county organizations, they have state organizations, they have national organizations. We have none of that. We are completely a separate 501c19 not-for-profit here in Rochester, which means we can kind of do anything we want to do.
So what do we want to do? I mentioned last week to the viewers that we were actually going to do something pretty exciting this year around the birthday ball.
Yes.
What's going on with that? How we coming with that?
Well, when the reserve unit left Rochester, there was no opportunity to have a ball because obviously they did that. We supported them financially, but the reservists were the ones that were the mainstay in the ball. And when they went away, we basically didn't have anybody to do that anymore. And
that's going to change this year?
Because of the situation, we've gotten many, many requests from Marines like myself in the area that want to attend a formal ball but don't want to drive to Buffalo or don't want to drive to Syracuse. And in real terms, last year, both of those organizations had to close their balls to anybody from the outside just due to lack of ability to handle more people.
Right,
so
right,
we decided that we were going to have a formal ball this year.
Well, that's great. Some of the other activities that we're doing in terms of supporting these guys, scholarships?
Lou Jessic, one of our founding members of the organization, came up with that program about, I want to say 7 or 8 years ago, and thought it would be a great idea to support the young Marines that were in school. And we started funding that, and we are now funding four scholarships in Syracuse, 4 scholarships in Buffalo, and at the end for the fall semester in 2017, we're actually going to give the Navy 2 scholarships.
Well, that's okay too. We actually did a couple of scholarships down there in Mexico, New York too, for the Junior ROTC program.
That's correct.
Under the watchful eye of, is it Benjamin?
Yeah, First Sergeant Benjamin.
First Sergeant Benjamin, wonderful, wonderful individual. Family days. What are family days for the reserve units, and what do we do for them?
Family days are pretty much what they sound like. It's an opportunity for all of the Marines to bring their families, children, wives, spouses, whatever, to a picnic that we support with financial, money and as far as food and things like that. They have games, they have door prizes, all those types of things, and it's just a great opportunity for the families to get to know each other. A lot of this was built around the concept of family support for each other in the case of deployment.
Right. And of course, there's a countless other things, and we could fill up an entire hour talking about what the council does. So in other words, we don't just sit around drinking coffee and Chivas Regals and donuts and sharing old war stories, huh?
No, we do not.
I know we're all very proud of the fact that we're a very active organization, and what do we calculate, about 96 cents of every dollar that we collect towards this. This set, actually, what do you think of this set, by the way? Do you know what this set cost us to put together?
Probably not much of anything.
It was about the same amount of money you make for the year. But Mike, outside of the Marine Corps and outside the council activities, what do you do? How do you pay the bills?
My wife and I own a travel agency here in Rochester. She's been in the business 45 years. I've done some other things in my life. Worked for the Democrat and Chronicle.
They still around, are they?
Yeah, I worked in the international transportation
industry. And 3 other people still get the paper, so you're keeping them in business.
For what it's worth, I do. But yeah, I've done some different things, and then in 2012, situation came along that allowed me to get back into the business with her, and now I kind of wear numerous hats.
I'll bet. Now I know you shared with me. I think it was a couple weeks ago. We had to change a meeting date. You've got some daughters.
3 daughters.
Are they grown, married? You got grandkids? What's going on with them?
Grown, yes. Not married. No children. No grandkids. 37, 31, and 22. The 22-year-old just graduated from the University of Dayton.
Congratulations.
She's got a job already that she starts mid-August, and right now she's just kind of hanging around looking for summer work, but of course it was late to start that this year.
All girls?
All girls.
That explains the gray hair then?
That explains the gray hair. All girls there, all girls in the office. Yes, I am in a female-dominated society.
Well, that's great, Mike. Thanks for sharing some of that stuff with us. Now, it's Memorial Day weekend,
That's correct.
and you and I talked about the fact that it would be a nice idea if we were to memorialize some of the local Marines that have passed away, as well as some of the past members of the Marine Corps Coordinating Council. I do have a list of some of them I'd like to talk about, and we're actually going to be naming some of the scholarships that we just talked about in their memory as well. Now, Memorial Day, as I'm sure you're well aware, different than Veterans Day. Memorial Day is traditionally to honor those that have died in service.
That's correct.
But I do still think, and it's kind of morphed and changed over the years, the history of Memorial Day used to be called Decoration Day in the South after the Civil War.
Right.
In 1966, Lyndon Johnson declared, and I don't know if you know this, that Waterloo, New York, is the official birthplace of Memorial Day. 45 minutes down the thruway from us. It's open for debate, but that's neither here nor there. But let's get into talking about some of these folks that we've got. One of the local people from Scioto, New York, he died in 2004. What do you know about Corporal Jason Lee Dunham? What do you know about his story?
Corporal Dunham was the first Marine in this modern era to receive the Medal of Honor.
Yes, he did.
He sacrificed his life by jumping on a hand grenade and saving other Marines in the area. His mom and dad have graced us with their presence at some of our things that we've done.
Is that right?
Yeah, they're wonderful, wonderful
Oh.
people. The whole thing is tough, but it's they're great. They're great people. The whole town is all about taking care of them.
Oh, that's awesome. I got a question for you. Do you know what Corporal Jason Lee Dunham's birth date is?
I do not.
November 10th.
Really,
How about that?
that's cool.
That is very cool. I want to talk about Len Benedict. You mentioned Len Benedict as one of the founders of the Marine Corps Coordinating Council. What else can you tell us about Len? And actually, his namesake is still on our golf.
That is correct.
The name of our golf tournament.
Len was the driving force. He was a retired master sergeant, Korea veteran, one of the few Marines. Well, not one of the few, but one of the Marines that never actually went through boot camp.
Is that right?
They were so far behind getting people trained to go into combat for Korea that they actually did boot camp, if you will, on the ship from the United States over to Korea.
No kidding.
Yeah,
I've
he
never heard
never
that.
went through a formal boot camp like I went through. But Len was the driving force. He was involved with the tattoos here. He was a force. There's no question about that.
I actually met Len Benedict several years back when I just played in the golf tournament, and I was a ball busting guy walking up, and he was there in his cart. And I tell you what, just in his presence, you seemed to like straighten up and just kind of fly right. He kind of commanded that, didn't he?
He did that. He could be a little stubborn from time to time, but his heart was always in the right place.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, Karen, his wife, is still an active member with the organization. She's
That's
just a
correct.
stalwart, a wonderful woman, and a great lady all around. Next up, John Papietro. I don't know if you're familiar with John too much and what he did.
I met John real early on. I started with the council in 2004, but there was some issues with personalities back in those days, and he kind of walked away. I knew him somewhat. He was one of the driving forces for the Marine tattoos that were in Rochester, where they have all the bands and drum and bugle corps and all that stuff come in. John was very much involved with that.
Excellent. And he was a member of the Marine Corps Council.
He was one of the founding members of the council.
Is that
He was
right?
One of the first guys that was in, yeah.
Excellent. Well, thank you. We enjoy remembering John, and our thoughts are with his family. What do you know about Bill Beatty?
Bill Beatty was a Vietnam veteran. He was, for a long part of the time that he was involved with the Coordinating Council, he was our official photographer. He just had a real eye for that stuff and was very much into it. And he took all the pictures at the Leatherneck Opens for years and was involved with honor flight. He went to most of the honor flight. When the veterans came back, he would be there taking pictures.
They still do that.
Yeah,
It's a big organization.
yeah, and very much involved, and unfortunately, we lost Bill to a heart attack, shoveling snow one day.
Mm.
Got a wife and a
It
family here in
explains,
Hamlin.
I was saying earlier, that explains why I probably couldn't find any pictures of Bill, because he was on the other side of the camera.
That's right.
Gotcha. Joe Burnett, very quiet guy, very humble man. We've got a picture of Joe. His family honors him with a whole sponsor sign every year.
That's correct.
And we will have that there until we're done with that tournament. You and I went to his wake and funeral.
Joe is kind of our hospitality guy in the coordinating council. When someone was sick, or he was in the hospital, or whatever, flowers needed to be sent out, Joe kind of took care of all that stuff. He was always at the Leatherneck Open. He played for a while. His son-in-law always sponsored a hole, and he was very much involved with it, and just a nice man and a customer of ours as well, the travel agency.
Excellent, and yeah, a super nice guy, and he's missed every day. Now, Marge Ritz, not a member of our council, but died recently, March 13, 2017. What do you know about Marge?
Marge, for a period of time, was the oldest living Marine in Monroe County.
Is that right?
She was World War II, obviously, 90, I think she was not quite 96 when she passed. Just one of the nicest, most fun people to be around. Just a bundle of energy from a little package, and just a nice person to be around. I've had conversations with her son since her passing, and we got the Marines to go to her wake, the memorial service and everything, and just a wonderful lady.
I couldn't take her off. We just recently did the mailing for the Leatherneck Open, and I saw her name and address on there, and obviously you try and pare down the list a little bit, but I just every time I went over to click it and remove it from the list, I couldn't do it. So I apologize to the Ritz family. You will be probably getting an invitation, but it was just dear to my heart. I didn't want to take that off the list. Now, here's a gentleman that probably a huge driving force behind the council, John Gay. You want to talk about John Gay for a minute?
John was brought into the council by Len Benedict. I always like to say Len had an eye for talent, especially if talent had deep pockets, and John had both.
And generous.
And very generous man.
Yeah.
Got involved with the council a little bit, and was very involved with the golf tournament. He was a very avid golfer.
Yes. Won it a couple times.
Won the tournament a couple of times, and John was instrumental in us starting our emergency relief fund, where he basically put up the initial seed money for that.
That's right. We forgot to mention that in the beginning. Yeah.
Yes, that he was bound and determined to make sure that Marines that needed help had help, and knew that unfortunately sometimes the red tape and bureaucracies don't always lend themselves to quick turnaround on those things. So he made us do the emergency relief fund, was instrumental in putting the bylaws together for it and the vetting process, and very nice guy.
And some of the things about him, he actually joined on the buddy system with another council member, Cliff Wiley.
That's correct.
They joined on 23 November 1967. He did. I've got some pictures for you here. 8 weeks training at Camp Geiger. His MOS training in Memphis, Tennessee, in avionics, and served at the New River Air Station in North Carolina. Had a medical discharge, honorable discharge in 1969, and still, even after he's gone, still a driving force behind the things that we're able to do in this council. Now, these last two fellows here, one of them I knew from the council, and one of them I know from speaking with his wife. And the first guy I want to talk about is Ken Cummings. What do you want to say about Ken Cummings?
I first met Ken when I first got into the council in 2004. Ken was exactly what you want a master sergeant to be. He was the guy that kept everything running in the right direction. At that time the council was a smaller group of people. He took all of the notes. He got all the action items. When we were in the process of doing something, it was Ken pushing things along to make sure they got done. He was kind of the opposite side of Len.
You mentioned yin and yang.
Yeah, the yin and yang. He was kind of the quiet, just getting things done, but a nice man, and 50 years old is way too young.
Yeah, his wife, I contacted her, and God bless you, Lori, you sent me something that's absolutely wonderful, and I just want to share this. He did go to St. Andrew's Catholic School, born in Rochester, went to Aquinas, studied engineering at Potsdam, spent 22 years in the Marine Corps, and like you said, retired as a master sergeant. What a positive attitude. The story that I want to share, and again, thank you so much, Lloyd, for allowing us to do this, is that he fought stage cancer, for 2 years, and towards the end, he was in and out of consciousness. One evening, he sat straight up, a huge grin on his face, and started waving one arm as if to signal or gain attention from someone. Someone saw this and told me that the angels were gathering. After everyone left, I asked Ken if he saw angels coming, and with a big grin, he shook his head. I asked him, "Are the Marines coming?" He grinned again and nodded. I told him it was okay to go with them. He passed away that night. We find great comfort in knowing that he was escorted home by his brothers. That's beautiful, Lori. Thank you so much for sharing that. One of Ken's favorite sayings was that every day is a holiday. The entire saying is every day is a holiday, every meal a feast, every paycheck a fortune, and every formation a family reunion. What a quality guy, huh? God bless you, Ken. Garden up there in heaven, and God bless Lori and his family, his girls, for sharing that with us. The last fellow that we want to honor on this Memorial Day is a gentleman by the name of call letters VD6. Who's VD6, Mike?
Al Decker.
Al Decker. Yes, he is. Al was a great, humble man, big guy.
Major, it was a chopper pilot in Vietnam.
Tell us a story. Tell us a chopper pilot story that I'd love to hear and can't hear enough.
Okay, so the story is that he was called on a mission. If you're familiar with the concept of what helicopters were used for in Vietnam, a lot of it was moving troops around. So he was called on a mission one day, and this is Al telling the story, to extract a recon unit that was they were done with their mission and they needed to be extracted from wherever they were. So he's telling the story that he flies into this hot LZ, taking incoming from all over the place, and that out of the four people...
What year is this happening?
I wanted to say in the late 60s. I don't know. I don't remember if I ever got that information.
We're in Korea or we're in Vietnam? Where are we?
We're in Vietnam.
Gotcha.
Okay, so he's gets called to go extract this recon unit, and 3 of the guys are there. They come out of the bush, they jump on the helicopter, getting ready to take off, and they're telling him he can't leave yet because the 4th guy is on his way, and he's telling them, we got to get the hell out of here before we get shot down, because it was a tough situation. So if you're familiar with the Huey, it has a cargo net on the back, which besides transporting the troops inside, they transported ammunition and medical supplies and food in this cargo net. So he tells the story as he's starting to take off, and the helicopter is starting to rise. This last Marine comes running out of the bush and jumps on the back of this cargo net and is holding on to this cargo net as he's gaining altitude. And as he's gaining altitude, he's dragging this guy through the treetops because there's no way to get him in, and they're not going to land again. And that Marine was Steve Grandusky, who was another member of our group.
Yeah, our treasurer. Yeah,
our treasurer.
Yeah, I enjoy hearing that. Now, Al actually gave me, Al's family gave me permission. This was kind of tough because Al was battling his battles in Florida. He came up, it's probably only about 4 or 5 months ago.
Yeah.
He came up to a council meeting, our monthly meeting, and during the meeting, just out of nowhere, when there was a bit of a lull, he stood up. And what we didn't know at the time was that it was his goodbye, and I want to share that now with you. So let's go ahead and play that.
So much for the privilege of being part of this group, and you've honored me with your friendship. Thank you so much. It's a major gift in my life. Thank you.
And like I said, we didn't know that was his goodbye, but clearly the council and the members meant a lot to him. He will be absolutely missed, and
He did so much great stuff. He was really involved with the scholarships.
That's right, Buffalo. I've got some pictures of him in
sports,
Buffalo.
getting us into the sports venues here with the Red Wings and Frontier Field and some of the other places like that. He was just a driving force. He was actually he did his stint as president of the council.
Oh, is that right? I didn't.
Yeah, he was my predecessor.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that, Mike. Listen, Mike. Listen, I really appreciate you coming in today. We didn't even scratch the surface of all the people that have given their lives in service to this country. And this is Memorial Day. Let's keep in mind that, oh, by the way, officially, 3 o'clock on Monday, National Moment of Silence. I don't know if folks are aware of that. That's what they do. And in terms of the flag on Memorial Day, it's raised, as it always is, and then lowered to half-staff till noon, and then at noon, it's again raised back up.
Right.
Very significant, a lot of story, tradition behind all that, and we'd like to observe that ourselves. I know, I'm
Absolutely.
sure you will as well. But Mike, I really appreciate you coming in to talk to us today.
My pleasure.
We want to wish everybody a happy Memorial Day. Be safe out there.